everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I wanted to give you some self-love affirmations that I feel like will really help expedite as well as keep your manifestations. Just a reminder, you don't technically need self-love in order to objectively manifest, but it does help keep your affirmations. Okay, so yeah, um self-love is important. Okay, it's my assumption that it's important. It's a lot of people's assumptions that it's important. um you should be doing this for yourself, just to feel good, whole, secure within yourself. That's an affirmation in itself. I always feel good, whole, secure within myself. But self-love, having good self-love will, or high self-concept will help you, get rid of any triggers, any negative events, memories associated with your love life that could be holding you back if you're trying to manifest a specific person, or really whatever it is. Okay, so these affirmations will help revise that. It will help drop the old story and create a much better reality. Okay, the reality that you deserve to experience. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my list. I have a whole list written right here on my iPad. So the first one is, you have always been perfect the way that you are. I really love this because this will counteract all the negative feelings associated with all the times that you felt inferior, you got bullied, you got triggered, you got I don't even want to complete that list, but this will help you realize that you've always been, this amazing, beautiful, handsome, you know, whole, worthy person all along. You've always been valid all along, as Gen Z says it. But yeah, I really like this because this, saying things like you have always been that way, it will literally make your subconscious think of all the good memories, all the good events that, you've experienced. It'll help your subconscious mind dig into all the times people complimented you, all the times you received praise, or you received that good thing, or you received your SP, or people in the past saying, doing good things to you. Because a lot of us, we tend to spiral negatively. We tend to go on a downward spiral. That's kind of what anxiety is. It's like we have one thought, it leads to another, leads to another. And I said this in one of my other videos, but it's like you can do the same thing with positive thoughts. Okay, you can tap into the positive memories of your subconscious, and like once you do that, you can literally spiral upwards. Okay, and I feel like that's something that will really help you get your manifestations that much quicker, and keep your manifestations, and overall keep you happy. Okay, at the end of the day, you should be happy. You should be mostly enjoying life, happy. Like, of course, we're humans. Self-doubt, anxiety, all that stuff, it does tend to creep in, and that's totally okay. But if you're not living life mostly feeling good about yourself, you're always stressed. I mean, that's something that should ideally change. Okay, like, I'm not like a professional therapist or anything, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, you should feel good about yourself. You should be feeling good about waking up every morning, just being a human, living life. Okay, so yeah, I feel like these affirmations, that one affirmation, you've always been perfect the way that you are, will remind you of the good aspects of yourself. And it's like, this affirmation is, I really like this affirmation because it tells you never had to change anything in the first place. Self-concept is not about changing yourself. It's just about changing the way you view yourself, and knowing that you've been worthy, valid, um, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest all along, like worthy of whatever it is that you're trying to manifest all along. You've always been, this amazing person that is deserving of love, that's deserving of, being fully loved and pursued all along. Okay, so that brings me to my next affirmation. I've always been fully loved, pursued, and valued. Okay, so I've been telling my clients this, but adding fully will get rid of any sort of situationships that you might have been in the past, any sort of relationships that kind of bothered you, where you're just like, okay, well, why isn't this official? Why isn't this person treating me well? Or why aren't they doing more? Because at the end of the day, we deserve to be fully pursued. We deserve to be in that healthy, happy, committed relationship with those labels. But some people like posting other people. If you're someone that really likes posting, or you want your SP to post you, SP specific person, by the way, you should say things, I've always been fully loved, pursued, because that implies that they're doing all that. People in a healthy, committed relationship, they'll show you off to their friends, they'll show you off to their family, they'll spoil you with cuddles and kisses and love and affection. Okay, so just saying I have been fully loved, valued, and pursued will help with that. Okay, so yeah. And of course, add the always, because that implies that like you've always experienced that, and you know a lot of what you are experiencing right now is built on past events or your assumptions of, you know, yeah, your assumptions that are based off of past events. And it's like some of those assumptions unfortunately may be negative. That's why it's up to you to do the inner work, to expend that, you know, little bit of mental energy to just rewire your frame of thinking, okay, and form these new neurological pathways that are more in alignment with what you are trying to manifest. So yeah, I really like this other the next one that we have here. I fully love and accept myself. Okay, I fully love and accept myself. Just say that. I promise you, like, even if at times you don't like completely believe that, like, do I accept myself? Even if like you say that and you're looking in the mirror trying to look for imperfections. I mean, you guys, saying something enough will help your subconscious mind internalize that. That's the beauty of affirmations. It's the beauty of repetition. It's like even if you don't believe something at first, which by the way, you technically don't need to believe in anything to manifest, but I mean, if there's something you should believe in, it's self-concept, okay? And just saying things like I'm fully loved and I accept myself, you'll feel less self-conscious about certain things. You'll feel less, you know, worried, less anxious about certain things, like, oh, am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? Am I interesting enough? I know some people have fears of their partners leaving them because they think they're not like interesting enough or worthy enough or passionate enough or whatever that may be. And like, you know, you should not be thinking that way about yourself. You should be thinking like exact opposite. Like, I am interesting enough, I am worthy enough, I am passionate enough, I am, you know, hot, sexy, alluring, but also at the same time like smart, interesting, charismatic, true to my individuality, you know, whatever traits are important to you. So yeah, I fully love and accept myself. Can't go wrong with that one. The next one is I always feel emotionally safe and secure within myself. Okay, it is important to give yourself that emotional security and fill your own cup before anyone else can. Okay, I mean, is it possible to manifest even if you're not like, you know, completely emotionally safe and secure? Yeah. I have seen relationships where, you know, one person kind of, you know, didn't really love themselves and they relied on that other person. You know, it's called codependency, to give them that love that they didn't give themselves. And it worked for like a couple months or whatever, but it was not sustainable in the long run. And both of them ended up somehow getting traumatized in that relationship. I actually have I don't even want to recite that story. It's not my story. It's like a story of someone that I knew. He basically dated this person who was like, you know, she did not love herself, and she was very codependent, and she became like, you know, really like dependent on him for her validation, which like your partner should be validating you, but you should not be completely reliant on your partner for validation. Okay, like human validation complements interaction. I mean, that's normal, that's good. Like, you know, it's good to even, you know, want that, but as long as, you know, it's fine to want that as long as your entire worth is not dependent on someone else's, you know, actions or someone else's validation towards you. Okay, but basically, you know, if you want a healthy, sustainable relationship, then you should definitely be affirming that, you know, you always feel emotionally safe and secure within yourself. And I promise you, other people will start reflecting that. You will start noticing, you know, SP, specific person, being a lot more attentive, caring, making you feel emotionally safe and secure, you know, like you should. Okay, you deserve that. That's actually, yeah, the bare minimum. But you know, sometimes, yeah, we don't experience that, but you can totally change that. You'll also notice like just better quality experiences, you know, people that are more, you know, people that are really interested in having meaningful relationships and connections with you, people that, you know, you're gonna like form relationships with people with whom it's gonna be 50-50 give and take. You know, you're not gonna notice like other people being codependent. You're not gonna notice other people, you know, using you or whatever. You know, if, like that's been the case. Like if you have those triggers, if you have those wounds of like other people taking advantage of you, doing whatever, it's because you probably didn't feel emotionally safe and secure within yourself, and like, you know, you probably did things to like, you know, people please and do whatever to keep this person interested in you so that you wouldn't lose the friendship. And you know, that's kind of like, I don't know what it's called exactly. I do believe they talk about it in therapy, but it's like, yeah, I guess it's called people pleasing, but like I feel like there's another word for it. It's like something attachment, no, avoidant attachment. No, that's the opposite. Like anxious attachment styles. Yeah, that. You know, it's like you're doing whatever to like, you know, because you don't feel that emotional security and safety in other people's relationship. You know, you're doing things, you're kind of chasing, you're kind of like, you know, breaking your own boundaries violating your own boundaries in order to like still keep them interested. That's not really how a relationship should be like. It should be 50-50 give and take. And this affirmation will revise all the circumstances where you experienced that, if you did. And it's okay, like, if that happened, I mean, just acknowledge that it did. You can just be like, okay, fine, it happened, but like now it's not going to happen anymore. And it's like, when you say this enough, it'll completely revise the situation. Like, I'm the type of person where like I don't like sweeping things under the rug. Like, if something happens, I kind of just acknowledge it in my mind, like, okay, this happened, but then I make a conscious decision on whether or not I want this to happen or not. And sometimes it's okay to even say like, okay, that never happened. I also do believe in that affirmation. Credits to Sammy Ingram. She's the one that made a video that said like, oh, if something negative happens and you don't want it to happen, just say that never happened. That is also okay. That is also valid. Some people actually do find that to be a much better revision technique, revision method. That's okay. Yeah, I know some people like just acknowledging the thing, taking it as it is, and then just going forward from there on. Honestly, for me, I kind of do a little bit of both. There are certain things where I'm like, yeah, that never happened, because I don't want to think about that again. I don't want it to keep like, being in my energetic sphere. I don't want to like, keep having that same thought again and again. And that's where EFT really comes in, emotional freedom technique. I believe you tap certain parts of your place where you feel that anxiety come in. And when tapping is metaphorical for you, like tapping into your subconscious and like sort of tapping that trigger out, tapping that wound out completely, okay, to the point where it won't trigger you. Like, even if you have that thought again, which we're humans, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. Can we ideally control them? Yeah, I mean, if we tried really hard enough, meditation, all of that, like, there are people who can control their thoughts, but like a lot of the time, 60,000 thoughts a day, like, you don't want to like keep micromanaging each and every thought, right? So when you just practice EFT, emotional freedom technique, to get rid of the thoughts that are not serving you, or like at least neutralize those thoughts. Like I said, even if you can't completely get rid of them, which is okay, that is normal, you can at least be neutral to them. You can at least be like, okay, well, I have this thought, great, but I don't want this thought in my realm. Thank you for showing me what I needed to work on. Thank you for being a mirror of my own, self-love, self-concept, but I don't want this. So, just say that, and I promise you it'll get out of your system. You'll feel less triggered. You'll feel good, whole, secure within yourself. You'll feel contentment, joy, peace, okay? A lot of you, okay, may not know this or even subscribe to this, but I thought this was just interesting to share. I recently saw a spectrum of different emotions and their frequencies, okay? Like, if you're not someone that believes in frequencies, energy, whatever, I mean, like, that's okay. You don't have to. But apparently love wasn't even the highest frequency. It was actually joy and peace. And the highest one was enlightenment, okay? But it's like, at the end of the day, love is great, but it's like you should be feeling joyous, peace, within yourself, at least most of the time, okay? Like, I do believe, and it's my assumption, that's the ideal way of living. And saying these affirmations will help you get there, okay? When you feel good within yourself, I promise you, you'll be able to manifest anything. Even if you see things that trigger you, it won't affect you, okay? Because a lot of this journey is about ourselves. It is about, like, figuring out our limiting beliefs, figuring out our wounds and triggers, and our way of thinking. And it's a really like great journey, okay, because it liberates you from so many things that could have been holding you back, liberates you from so many limiting beliefs that you had about relationships. Even as I talk on my channel and like help people with manifesting and manifest for myself and just research more into manifestation, I realized that I had so many limiting beliefs that ended up reflecting, and I still do, and I'm still working on getting rid of them. I've had so many limiting beliefs about dating. I used to subscribe to the whole thing about like men aren't loyal these days, or like dating is just like a it's just a hookup culture. It's just certain places have worse dating lives than others, or people just are readily available to people on dating apps, and like men from dating apps are all like not loyal, like all that kind of stuff. And like I'm a woman who likes men, so that's why I'm just using that as an example. But I realized, like, wow, I should not be thinking that way, because that is not true. I actually do know a lot of people who got married and they met off of dating apps, and they deleted the dating app like after the first date. It is possible, okay? It is possible to be with someone who's not obsessed with ego validation and swiping on people like continuously, okay? It is possible to it is possible to be with someone that is completely loyal to you, that doesn't talk to their ex, that doesn't check out other people. And you should have that. You should have that. That is like if you feel bad, like, oh my gosh, like, am I being too, like, because there's some people who are like, am I being crazy for wanting someone to be loyal? I'm like, no, you're not, okay? I promise you, there are good people out there. There are men out there. Like, I myself am dating one like that, okay? You guys, this person gave me, my boyfriend gave me his phone, okay? Like, he's just like, you can use my phone to pay for it. Like, we went bowling this one day. Right now we are in a long distance thing. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm in New York and he's in California. But like while we were on a date and like it's so weird to say this, but it's like we are gonna be visiting each other pretty soon, so I'm excited about that. And it's like, am I manifesting certain things for our relationship? Yeah, like I probably won't say it out loud here, but yeah. But anyways, my point is like, I mean, this guy gave me his phone to pay for bowling, and it's like when someone gives you their phone, I mean, they're kind of like, he trusts me, and I'm not really the type of person that would check his phone, at least not anymore. Maybe when I was younger I would have, but it's like, you know, this guy really trusts me, and he even gave me like the passcode. Like, he's like, oh, okay, just pay for it using my Apple Wallet. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's really great. I had exes who never, like, you know, they literally would hide their phone from me. They would change their passcodes like every, you know, like couple days or something like that, and like, don't ask me how I know that, okay? Like, when I was younger, I had a lot of trust issues, so, like, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna revisit there, but, like, I mean, this guy, like, it's a huge upgrade. You know, like, yeah, it's like people can surprise you the minute you get rid of limiting beliefs regarding relationships, okay? And like, I used to have so many limiting beliefs, like, oh, certain type of people or people that look like this or act like this will do this and that, and like, that's not true at all, okay? Because there are exceptions to everything. And you know, like, actually when I started doing self-concept and when I started changing my perception of myself and like, you know, just the dating world in general and like, you know, just men in general, I started noticing much better quality experiences. And even like men in other relationships who are like, you know, really decent like men, and like a lot of my friends, like, you know, they're some of them are like married to like, you know, guys that are like just wonderful. Like, trust me when I say, like, there are good partners out there. There are good like women out there. If you're into women, like whoever you're into, I promise you, like, you have to stop thinking like, oh, all men are like this, all women are like this. Even at times, like, I'll say things like that, like, oh, New York men suck, or Florida men suck, or something like that, because of like the stuff that I see like on TikTok. Like, you know, I don't know if you guys ever saw that couch guy video where like they were in a long distance relationship and he was basically like flirting with other girls when and he wasn't even excited to see his girlfriend. I'm like, stuff like that. Like, I actually realized I manifested that video because maybe at the time I kind of had a negative view of, you know, like, there were still certain triggers within me. There were still certain things within me that like that really pointed to the way that I thought. And maybe, you know, actually seeing that video, I'm just like, it's weird. I didn't get triggered. I feel like in my younger years I probably would have. I'm like, oh my god, what the heck? Like, this is so stupid. Like, screw this guy. But it's like, when I saw that, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually secure within myself. I'm actually secure within my self-concept and my impression, my assumptions, and then that, like, you know, this, I'm just gonna consider this to be like a troll video or something like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a really long tangent. I'm sorry about that, but it is really important to, you know, do self-concept affirmations, because it really helps you find out where your limiting beliefs are, the way that you think, so you can rewire your way of thinking. Okay, that is like literally half the battle right there. If you can do that, you can manifest anything you want. And I am here to personally tell you, like, do not lose hope in love. I know it can be pretty hard, okay? I know that, like, with everything that society, that even media shows us, it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, no one's trustworthy these days, no one's loyal these days. I guarantee you, I have seen very, very loyal people that don't, like, I literally went on Reddit threads to kind of, like, find out, like, you know, like, what people's relationships look like. And I found so many, you know, Reddit threads about people. Like, these are people that have anonymous profiles. It's not even like they're writing these things for validation. Like, you know, because sometimes it's like, you know, let's not even go there, but it's like, you know, these people had no reason to lie about it, basically, right? But, you know, they were saying things like, yeah, my husband, my wife is completely loyal. We've never had any issues. I've never even had the urge to cheat. I've never even had, like, the urge to, like, you know, do anything with anyone else or flirt with anyone or disrespect my, like, you know, spouse in, like, any way. Like, people are wholesome. And, like, what I noticed is, like, I don't even think these are, like, you know, quote unquote, like, old people. I think there's also this, like, conception that, like, oh, the older generation knows loyalty better, this younger generation, you know, because of the access that they have to people via technology or whatever, you know, they don't know about loyalty. They just want, like, you know, instant gratification, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, oh my gosh, like, I can go on and on, but I don't even want to, like, you know, go down that route. But it's like, trust me when I say there are loyal people of every age, every generation. There are good people. you can find someone, you can manifest your person to be loyal to you, you can completely recreate someone. It's just a matter of you stepping into the version of yourself that has what you want, or stepping into the version of yourself that sees things in a different way. Okay, again, you're not technically changing anyone. You're just, I guess, like, whatever you want to call it, shifting realities, shifting versions of yourself to be that version of yourself that, sees society in a way, in a very positive way, sees love in a very positive way. And once you have that inner shift, that inner change, you will see your outer world reflect that. Okay, because every time you experience something in your reality that's less than ideal, you can just think like, okay, well, maybe I shifted to this sort of like lower vibrational, or whatever you want to call, not the best reality. And then but realize that you can shift yourself back. Okay, because I literally lived in a reality these, like, especially these past couple months. Now I would say like it's been going on for, like, last 6 months. I really started manifesting, going ham on my self concept, like mid 2021. And like I attended 2 weddings, and like, the husbands of, like, these were very good friends, were like amazing. I mean, they were doing a lot of like the work that like the bridesmaids or like the bride would typically do. Like, they were genuinely interested in planning the wedding. Like, you guys, good relationships, good men, good women, good whoever, they do exist. Okay, that's the main point. Sorry, super long tangent, but I really hope this does help reaffirm your faith in love and relationships, because you deserve to have a good relationship, and you deserve to not go into relationships having a lot of anxiety and thinking, what about this, what about that, are there even loyal people, is love even worth it? Yes, 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 and yes. Okay, so yeah, anyways, let me just share my other affirmations. Okay, yeah, something I want to tell you guys is that I have made these affirmations into a subliminal, and I will be uploading it soon on my channel. I don't know which video I'm going to upload, whether this video or the subliminal video, but I do have a playlist of manifestation subliminals that you can listen to. A lot of them are self-concept. I do have specific person affirmations as well, so if you want to manifest effortlessly, while you go to sleep, or if you had a day where you didn't have time to affirm, just listen to those subliminals. Okay, it's a great life hack. So yeah. The next affirmation that I have is, you cherish and prioritize yourself. Okay, so once you do that to yourself, once you prioritize yourself, once you put yourself first, you will start acting like the person, who has a high self-concept. Like, even if you don't believe that at first, even if you don't believe any of these affirmations, I promise you, once you say it enough, you will start believing it, and you will automatically, your subconscious will internalize these affirmations to a point where you will automatically start acting like a person who has, like, good boundaries, high self-concept, and you will attract people, or you will, basically be in scenarios, encounter versions of people that will reflect exactly that. Okay, you will see your specific person prioritizing you, cherishing you, treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. Okay, when you say things like, I cherish and prioritize myself. And I can personally vouch for this affirmation, because I have talked about this in my other videos, but yeah, so some of you already know this, but if you are new, with my current SP, he kind of did prioritize, like, work over me. And like, I kind of understand that, because I myself am like a bit of a workaholic too. Like, I do, like, prioritize that aspect of my life. I do prioritize my career as well. But it's like, my SP did kind of break up with me because he had to focus on his job, and I'm like, that's okay, because I had to do that in college too. Like, I really had to focus on my studies and career. But it's like, I realized, like, well, he could do both, right? And like, I never once talked to him about this. I just I accepted things the way that they were. I'm not about forcing the 3D. I'm not the type of person that would say, like, well, like, beg someone to stay with me, or even convince them, or even have arguments. I just said, like, okay, you know what, sure, like, I understand that. And like, in my mind, I was affirming that he got his ideal job, that he's financially stable, and that he is open enough, he's free enough to be in a relationship with me. He has a balanced enough life to be in a relationship with me and manage work. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Okay, he got a much better job than he did before, like, with a much better, like, work environment, and he was able to be in a relationship with me. So yeah, I mean, I just affirmed for that. Like, I was just affirming, like, okay, you know what, like, we both are in a place in our lives where we can manage work and life. Okay, we both live healthy, balanced lives. You can even just say, like, general affirmations like that if you've ever, like, maybe experienced a situation where your person had to prioritize something else over you, which, yeah, it can feel kind of suckish, but it's like, I also realized that I'm someone that manifested that, but I also unmanifested that, and actually manifested a much better situation for us by literally just, assuming differently, and, just wishing him well and saying that he had a good job. at the end of the day, do what feels good to you, do what feels right to you. With some people, they like affirming specific things for their specific person. I didn't really do that too much. I mostly just stuck to self-concept affirmations. I think I just once or twice said like, okay, he lives a balanced life. He's ready. He's open, ready, and emotionally safe and secure, and just like available to be in a relationship with me. So yeah. That's something else that I wanted to put out there. I really like this one. I have talked about this in a couple of my other videos, but we could always use a reminder of this. The next affirmation is I have perfect self-concept. Just saying things like I have perfect self-concept will again imply that you make the right decisions, and that you think in a way and you attract things that are in alignment with your manifestations. Okay, it's so weird saying attract. Like, this is a law of assumption channel, but at times I will use attract. You guys know what I mean. But my point is that when you say I have high self-concept, or I have always had high self-concept, your subconscious mind will internalize that, and you will start acting like the person who has always been treated well, who has always been cherished. And those people aren't really worried about like other people leaving them, or not being good enough, not being smart enough, bright enough, pretty enough, handsome enough, whatever enough. Okay, so saying things like I have perfect self-concept will help you feel so confident and good within yourself, and it'll help you act like the person that has that, and it will redirect you to the events and like positive circumstances and versions of people that reflect exactly that reflect your high self-concept back to you. So yeah. I also like this one. I like all of these. I'm saying I like this about all the affirmations that I have here, but I know my worth and value. Okay, I know my worth and value. And you are a high value individual. If you're watching this, okay, I promise you are high value, high worth. You deserve the best, okay? You should not be settling for anything less than that, okay? Maybe at times we have, maybe we were a little bit oblivious of our worth, or we didn't really, like realize it in time, or we just kind of compromised at times. So like saying things like I know my worth and value, I promise you that will also make sure that people in your life reflect exactly that, reflect they show up as people who know your worth and value. When you know that about yourself, other people will realize that too. Other people will feel that, energetically, if you believe in that, or they will just, sense that. They'll be like, yeah, this person knows their worth and value. I'm not gonna waste my time. Because there are some people, if you notice, like, and I'm sure as I say this, you'll think of certain people, but there are certain people in your life that you would never try, that you would never test, that you have so much respect for, that like you would never even like, think of like trolling or doing like, you just have like so much respect, like you care about like, how they perceive you, and you hope that they don't think that you're like so and so, they don't think that you're stupid, they don't think that you're bad, or there's like those certain people in your life, like for example, like I guess like for me, like elders, like teachers, or like my boss or something like that. Like I think this about everyone, because I want to be like the best version of myself for everyone. I try to be respectful, not try to be, like I feel like I am mostly respectful to like most people, and it's like, but there's just certain people out there that you would just never try and test. Like for example, like okay, when I started saying this, backtracking here, when I started saying this, I know my worth and value, I actually started attracting less like F-boys, less like, guys that weren't really like, interested in having an actual relationship. They just wanted like, physical relationship, which that's not for me. I cannot do that. I do not like that. That actually like hurts my soul to think that. And like now I don't think that anymore. I don't think that like, oh, it's just a hookup culture, because I actually see a lot of people getting into like long lasting, healthy, happy relationships. Okay, I don't even like hear too much about like that scene or anything like that. Yeah, but like the minute I started saying this, like I started attracting just like better quality men, better quality dating experiences. Guys that like, I know this is like the bare minimum, but like that were willing to like take me out and do like fun activities and things like that. Because believe it or not, like at one point my self-concept was so low that like I was on dating apps, like this was a while back. I was on dating apps, and like guys would just be like, oh my gosh, like come over. I don't know why I said oh my gosh, but they would just be like, come over, and they wouldn't even take me out. And it's like what happened? Like what? But I would just ghost them. I'm gonna be real, like that's not what I do. That is not my style. I mean, if you do that, no judgment. I know some people like that. Some people are into that. I'm not shaming you. If you're into like having casual physical relationships, then all the more to you. But that's not for me, and I did not want to see that in my life. Like that actually, like I realized that, okay, I manifested that, but I can change that. And let me tell you, the type of people that approached me after that, like even now, like even though I am seeing someone, I still get guys that approach me, because I guess it's my assumption that, like, guys will like hit on that. And I don't really want that. I don't need that sort of validation from guys. Like, I've given that to myself, and I get that from my specific person. Like, I guess the only person, like, it's a healthy relationship is what I'm trying to say. But like, I don't really want that. And like, I don't like that whole like hitting, picking up type culture thing. I mean, like, if you're single, that's fine, but like, as someone who's in a relationship, is it flattering? Yes, but do I want it? No, because I'm giving that to myself. But anyway, my point is like even the people that approach me now, like even the guys, like they converse with me normally. Like the other day, I was in a bookstore, and like this guy came up to me, and he was just really friendly. Like, I'm a friendly person, I'll make conversation, and like we were talking about like this one book that we both really like by Malcolm Gladwell, and I was like, the conversation was really nice, really platonic, really friendly. And then he was just like, oh well, would you be down to like go out to drinks and like, or go out to dinner, like drinks and dinner, like that's the thing. Would you be down to like go out to drinks and dinner and discuss this book? And I politely declined, because I'm like, no, why would I hang out with someone else like alone, start dating someone, right? So, but it's like, that's crazy, because like I know that sounds like the bare minimum. Some of you watching this will be like, girl, like the bar was literally on the ground. But like, trust me when I say, like, I'm in New York, and I guess I had this assumption that like New York men are kind of like, for lack of a better word, hoes, because like when I came here, a lot of them, I just had this assumption that they were like, they kind of took women for granted because of like the amount of like women there are. Apparently it is like 1.2 women to like, the ratio of women to men is 1.2 to 1. And it's like, I've seen a lot of articles about like how men have like unfettered access to women, and like they kind of just like expect a lot without really doing anything in return. Like, these were my assumptions. These were like, literally when I first moved to New York, I did kind of have low self-concept because I was going through a breakup, all that. I don't even want to like talk about that, but my point is, I did experience that. And I'm telling you these stories because I know this is something that a lot of people have experienced. Okay, I feel like the collective has experienced this, because maybe the collective like self-concept at times has been low, but we can always work on that. We can always we can change that in a day. We can change that in an instant, okay? And like, that's exactly what I've been experiencing. I don't experience like weird creepers hitting on me anymore. Like, that's what I'm saying. And I never even liked it then. Like, even then, was it a little bit flattering to be like called attractive? Sure, but it's like, I don't know. Like, that kind of stuff like pisses me off. And like, I honestly, 2 years ago, I would have been like complaining to my friends, like snapping pictures on, oh, this guy's so like, I hate the men here, they suck, blah blah blah. And like, even sometimes maybe I'll just like say that, like, oh man, but like, like I'm really trying not to think that way. And like, that's a really important part of like manifesting. You have to change your assumptions on whoever it is that you're trying to manifest. Again, I'm a straight woman that likes men, so that's just the example that I'm giving. I definitely know that there's people out there into women, or guys that are into women that also have like kind of similar, they could have had a similar frame of thinking where they were just like, oh, women, I mean, they just want like tall guys, they only look for certain things, they only want this type of person that does that, or they're not loyal, or whatever the case may be. Okay, you have to change your assumptions about the type of person that you're trying to date, the dating life, the dating scene in general, if you want to do that. And I'm telling you, like, I personally have done that, and I have noticed so much better quality experiences. Okay, like, literally, like, my boyfriend, I mean, it did not take long for us to like pick things up, get back together. And like, this guy like exceeds my expectations. Like, I actually really like that as an affirmation. My SP exceeds my expectations. They go above and beyond my expectations. Or my SP always surprises me, because like, you guys, my SP, like, he does things that I didn't even like fathom. Like, there were certain things that I wanted him to do, and it's like he does that and more. There were a lot of things, like, I mean, he literally called me like the most beautiful woman in the world, which is cap. I mean, I know I shouldn't say that, low self-concept, and I do have a screenshot of that. I have a couple of videos that I made that, where I put in screenshots of like the text exchanges that we have. But like, my life, I do like keeping my love life a little bit private. In fact, I've said so much about it, on here, and like, there's a lot of people watching. But yeah, or like, I'm sure like people I know are watching this, so that's kind of awkward, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm an open book at the end of the day, but it's like, yeah, my SP exceeded my expectations, and yours should as well. I really do think a hallmark of a good relationship is like, keeping things fresh, always surprising each other in the best way. I surprise him too. I get gifts as well. I do think it's a 50-50 give and take. Like, I am the type of person where, like, if I want a good relationship, I also act like, the partner that, like, I would want to be with as well. Because at the end of the day, respect, loyalty, honesty, these are staples of a good relationship, okay? And at the end of the day, when you change your inner world, everything around you changes. It really does. And I can attest to that. And I'm like the most stubborn person ever. I have like triple Taurus placements, 12th house Taurus. I'm gonna have a lot of earth in my chart. And like, I legit thought I was the only one who this wasn't happening for. I was the only one that I was in victim mentality. And you guys, victim mentality is like the worst thing to be in. Please, 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 as much as you can, get out of it. And like, the best way to get out of it is by affirming for self-concept. So yeah, another long tangent, but I really do like just giving my examples in hopes to encourage other people and motivate other people that, hey, if I can do this, if I can manifest this, so can you. And there is hope for love. Love is a real thing, and it is a beautiful thing. So yeah. I also like the affirmation that I am important and I'm a blessing to this world, okay? So it's funny because this was inspired by a TikTok that I saw. I don't even remember when, but like, it was a TikTok of this guy saying like this really intense affirmation. He's just like, I don't remember the exact words, but he's like, I am important and this world is effed without me, like fucked without me, okay? Sorry, I don't like swearing, but like, yeah. But that's basically what he said. And I was like, I'm not really a huge fan of swearing, so I don't really do that. So I just say I'm a blessing to this world. Okay, I'm important, and it helps make me feel good about myself important. Because I mean, I already know that I am, and you should as well. Okay, there's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you exist. You are important. You deserve to be treated like you're important by the people around you, the people that you love, the people that you care about. Okay, you deserve all of that, 100%. And these affirmations, like, if they sound a little bit like, oh my gosh, that's so out there, like, this doesn't even sound like, this sounds a little bit too, like, good to be true. I mean, like, just exaggerating it, first of all, it really does help. But it's like, when I would look at these affirmations, when I first started affirming, I was like, wait, yeah, this does seem too good to be true. Am I really a goddess and queen? And like, that's a sign that I needed to work on my self-concept, because you do deserve to be treated like the best. You deserve nothing less than that. And especially like by your specific person, by the people that you love, by the people that you love and cherish. I don't know why I said that twice, but you deserve to like be important in people's lives. You deserve to be a priority. But in order to have that in other people's lives, you have to be that in your own life. You have to be the center of your life. You have to be important in your own world. You have to be the operant power of your reality. You have to realize your worth, your value, okay? And again, like, if this is something that like you feel like you don't believe at first, like whatever these affirmations are, then just keep affirming it. I promise you will eventually start believing in them. You technically don't have to believe any affirmations, but if there are any affirmations you should believe, it should be the self-love, self-concept affirmations, okay? So yeah, never settle for anything that is beneath you, okay? Never settle for like any mindset that's beneath you. Never settle for these limiting beliefs, because I promise you they can be overturned, they can be suspended, canceled, dissolved. Life, you do not have to accept the negative parts of life as they are. I think a lot of us grew up thinking that like, oh, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to surrender, we have to just let go. Oh my gosh, no, you don't. You have way more power and way more control than you know. Okay, and I'm someone that like can personally attest to that. A lot of the time when I share my stories, it's really just to show you like this happened, and it's like, again, if I can do it, anyone can. Because I was like the most stubborn person. I was like the biggest disbeliever. I was like, I was a huge skeptic. I'm actually very logical minded. I was a STEM major, in tech, and it's like my logical mind sometimes does take over a lot, but I made my logical mind work for me. That's another affirmation you can use. My logical mind works in my favor. Okay, in fact, I'm going to make another video about that. I was going to make a video about the subconscious mind and logical mind, because I do have some more interesting information to share about that. But one affirmation you can use is my logical mind works in my favor, because, I was taught that, like, our logical mind is the one that is holding us back. But I'm like, wait, why should that be the case? I feel like our logical mind should be helping us. Okay, our logical mind has, like, my logical mind has helped me in a lot of different ways in the past, so why shouldn't it help me with manifestation, I'm sort of like, trying, I have this mentality where my logical mind and subconscious mind work together in conjunction to help me bring my desires. So my subconscious mind, I know, will help me bring my desires, but sometimes it's the logical mind that really fights us, that really, you know, makes us believe otherwise. Like if you're trying to manifest commitment with your specific person, but let's say you're dealing with someone that was kind of a player, that hits on other people, that likes other people's pictures, whatever, it's like your logical mind will tell you, well, you can't manifest this person because they're a player and they're busy liking other people's pictures. It's like, no, no, no. You have to dim that part of your brain. You have to dim that part of your mind. You know, the logical mind really, it can either be your worst enemy or your biggest like supporter. Okay, because at the end of the day, the only competition is you. At the end of the day, the only, you know, the only thing you have to change is your perception on certain things. And I changed my perception that like my logical mind works in my favor. My logical mind doesn't give me um you know, those negative thoughts about, based on like negative past experiences and circumstances that I've had. And, you know, affirming all these affirmations that I gave you will help dissolve those anyways. Will, you know, if they have triggered you, they'll trigger you a lot less, you know. So yeah, but yeah, that affirmation is something that I really like. You know, my logical mind always works in my favor, because I have talked about in other videos, saying that my subconscious mind always works in my favor. So why not just say everything works out in my favor? Okay, like that is an affirmation you should be using. Everything's always working out in my favor. But if you are someone that, you know, is a little bit more into the science behind manifestations and the neuroscience and the logical mind and subconscious mind, you can just say that both those aspects of your mind are working together in tandem to help bring your desires in the best way possible. So yeah, wow, I talked a lot in this video. This was a lot longer than I was expecting it to be, but that's just my style of doing videos. Like I'll say certain affirmations, and other important things that I feel like need to be mentioned will come up. So yeah, hopefully this helps someone. Okay, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I always say that in all my videos. Okay, these are my rules, these are my assumptions. Law of assumptions is all about making your own assumptions and having them work for you. Okay, you do not have to internalize all of my rules. You can, you know, hopefully some of these affirmations do help. Hopefully some of what I said help. Okay, I'm intending that this did help someone. I am intending that, you know, you will get your manifestations. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. If you do have any questions about manifestation, let me know in the comments below. I also do want to let you know that I offer manifestation coaching. I also make custom subliminals. So if you are interested in that, check out the description box below where I have my website linked. And yeah, I will go ahead and end the video right here. I will see you all next time. Thank you so much.